Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the ebook. I wanted today, just as you're reading through this, I wanted you to be able to visually see some things that I am kind of talking about in the book, especially sections like distressing your furniture, glazing, and staining the paint on your furniture, because those can be really, it's hard to make a very interesting list of those. And honestly, it's hard to know what that looks like in reality. For instance, if I say, you need to distress your edges of your furniture naturally, what does that look like in reality? I will say that it is a personal thing. There are many different people that paint furniture and they do a beautiful job. And then many of us that do it just for our own homes. So it's a personal preference. I will tell you for myself, I like it to be a very natural, time-worn finish. I want it to feel like as time has moved on, little feet and hands and spills and things like that, life has worn my furniture. I'm not really into super chunky distressing. I usually tend to layer paints for those kinds of looks, or really do serious sanding for that kind of thing. So this is really just going to cover how do I basically distress a piece of furniture. And this ebook was a promise for you to get to see my techniques. So this is how I do it. So I have a new piece that I'm working on that you guys are going to get to see, hopefully the end result and how beautiful it will be in the end. So we're going to start just simple stuff. I want you to know something, and I think I've written this in the ebook. This is all you need for sanding. If you have a hand sander, that's great. You should use that if you are needing serious prep for a piece. But other than that, you really don't even need one. So don't feel like you've got to go buy one. Because here's the thing, I've got two things to tell you about a hand sander. In my opinion, if you are going to paint a piece again, you are wasting so much precious time. All you need to do is buff the gloss off, just the clear coats off. And you can do that with just a medium grade, or even a coarse sanding block. They fit in your hand well. You can reuse them over and over. I think they're super cheap, like $2.99 for these. And then if you'll visit your local Sherwin-Williams or True Value, and especially then local hardware stores, they really do tend to run great sales on little things like this. And you'll pick up, I usually pick up a few at a time, and I'm good for months. So I will tell you also that if you are trying to restain a piece, and again, I think this is written in the book, you don't really need to spend hours sanding that piece with a hand sander. Yes, it's faster than doing it this way, but guess what? If you are really trying to restain a piece of furniture, to me, the time saver is simply to strip it and be done with it, because you're going to be spending hours and lots of muscle time, you'll be exhausted by the time that's over. So don't waste your time with that. Get your smart strip or whatever, stripper of choice that you use, and go on and move forward. Okay, so let's get started on distressing. Again, I really want a very natural time-worn look, so I do focus on the edges and spots on the piece that stick out a little bit more. If it's a chair, I'm gonna do the curve of the chair, of the leg, or maybe the ball of the foot. I want it to be places that it would naturally get kicked and scuffed and, rubbed up against the wall, that kind of thing. So, like I said, all you need is a medium and a fine. I typically start with a medium. There's just absolutely no reason in the world to even start with a fine, because you're trying to get through to that wood anyway. If you are trying to get only through to a base coat of paint, let's say you do one of the layered treatments that we've talked about, you're gonna need to use a fine because you want it to just barely wear through. Whereas right now I know I'm trying to get to this wood. So, all you're gonna do is just, it's very simple. I feel very silly actually putting a video of it together, but again, it's just good to have a visual sometimes. So you're just basically gonna, go at the edges and just kind of run your hand along. Now I want you to see, if we can get a close-up of this, just that it's pretty easy to go on and get it started with a medium. It's not hard at all, just to get a good, good edge going. You are gonna pull and see the primer. And sometimes I leave it like that. A lot of times I really like it that way. So it just depends. But see how easy that is? And if I want more, you know, I can always make it more chunky. So start small, and then, you know, as you go, you're gonna get really, really brave. You're not gonna worry about scuffing up the furniture. You're just gonna enjoy it. And now moving on down like to this kind of section, I typically, if you'll notice, it's a lot easier if you'll work in circles. If you will move your hands in circles, you're gonna get there a lot faster than if you were to just do like this. You're gonna have to scrub a lot harder. Whereas, you know, just for a circle, moving your hand in that circular motion, you really get down to that bare wood pretty quickly. And again, you know, pick a showstopper. Pick, like for me, I wouldn't want all of that to show every time. You know, I want it to have some kind of asymmetrical qualities. You know, I like a little, I don't know, just a little play off of each other. I like that this one is a really big chunk out of distressing. This one barely has anything at all. I like it to kind of pull your eye in. You know, you want to see the distressing, but you're wanting to see your furniture, not just the marks that are on it from wear. So be sure that you do pick a spot and let it stand out. Let it be the one that kind of pulls your eye into those smaller and supporting details. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. Again, I'm not gonna do it all, but I do want you to kind of see how I work. Don't be afraid to use like these edges. They're wonderful for grooves. I mean, that's why I love these. Even the sanding blocks that you buy that have the refill sheets with the handle, to me, those are just a waste of money. Like, I go through those, you know, sheets of sandpaper like crazy. I will tell you one other thing that I have definitely used a lot. You're seeing a lot of our nasty garage, by the way. Take you a piece of sandpaper and just cut it into quarters, tear it into quarters. It's perfect for just kind of running your finger along something just to get it going. And I really do that a lot, especially if I've sprayed, whether it's several coats of spray paint or the Wagner. This just kind of helps cut it. I believe this is 150. And you can definitely probably go down to 100. Anything less than that, and it's going to be pretty coarse, so you probably want to avoid that. I would say like 100 to even 220 would probably be good. 320 is going to be so fine, it's going to be a waste of your time. It's going to take you forever. So for like these inside ones, that's a good thing to do. You know, if you want to get even just the edges. And you know, a lot of times I'll use this part just as kind of a getting started, and then I'll pick my sanding block back up and kind of rough it up further. So see, again, I don't want this whole thing showing. To me, that doesn't have the interest that this does. So y'all are getting to see me work finally, huh? So now down here, I usually always throw like a serious chunky distressing down at the bottom. I really want to play into the fact that this is probably getting kicked around, or, you know, feet are knocking it around. And then really the last part is just going to be like your tops. I will tell you this, I personally am not a huge fan of like really chunky, I shouldn't say chunky, because sometimes I do like a lot of distressing. But I will tell you this, if you're going to take like a big section of the paint off, make your edges worn. Make it wear into the wood. Don't use your electric sander and just hack away at your paint. To me, that looks really unnatural and really obvious. So, you know, start like in a circular motion. It's going to be hard on the top. So again, after this is worn down, might just better use your medium. Especially, let's get close to the edge, because I do this a lot now on a top. I will kind of rough that edge where that edge gets a lot. Okay, now I want you to see what I'm talking about. Do you see that this is worn? It's not like I took a sander and it's got this perfect line. You know, it needs to look worn. That's kind of the point of distressing, is to emulate time's wear on your piece of furniture. So I hope that these simple tips have helped. We're gonna come back actually with this same piece of furniture, and we're gonna go on and glaze it, and then we're gonna stain it so that you can kind of see how that's different in applying it, and then how it looks on your piece. So anyway, thanks, I hope it helps.